This is the Amp Hour Podcast. Released August 7th, 2017. Episode 354. A Meeting of the Davids.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEVblog.
And I'm David from the EEVblog.
David? Not Dave.
Not Dave, right.
The other David.
Yeah, I'm not Dave 2. That would mean I was like a sequel.
Yes.
But
you're commonly known as David 2.
But I'm not like the
Kinda
second
stuck.
production of Dave.
No.
I'm a totally separate
Yes.
instantiation of Dave.
What have I got on my website? I've got younger, better looking and less jaded.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on the website. If you can, there's a photo of you and... Yep, oh, he's checking it out.
Yeah, I gotta look at this.
All right. Anyway, our esteemed regular co-host, Christopher J. Gamble, is absent again, gallivanting around the country somewhere, Yankee Land. And we're sitting here. If this sounds a little bit different, we apologise because we're in the same office here, and it's actually quite... You might think, oh, being in the same location's easy to record, because normally we use Mumble to record with guests and record with each other on the other side of the world. But you might think it's easy being in the same office. It's not. We tried with the two microphones, and it sucks ass, because you can't. It's very difficult to acoustically decouple both microphones. So when you speak on the other side of the room, it's
Yeah, and then when the audio gets resolved later,
we use a program which automatically amplifies and levels it and stuff like that, and it doesn't know the difference between you speaking in the background and me speaking in the foreground, and it amplifies it.
Yeah.
It's just horrible. Noise gates and all those other audio things. So we decided to sit side by side, so we're practically rubbing shoulders and talking in the same mic.
Yep,
So,
hope it's okay.
anyway, we'll find out. So, what are you up to, David 2, at the moment? We're allowed to say your full name. It's on the website.
Yeah, it's on the website.
David Ledger.
And some guy doxed me.
And some guy doxed you.
I actually know who it is.
Right.
But I'm gonna not do it to you.
Is it one of your uni friends?
I don't know.
Right. Some random.
It was really abrupt.
Right.
It was like, this is his name. It's like, why? It's like, firstly, no one cares. Secondly, I'm commenting under my name.
Oh, right.
Like,
Okay. Right. So this was on a video somewhere, was it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Someone just said his real name is David Ledger.
It's like, well, thanks.
Anyway.
Like,
Yep.
that was pointless. Yeah.
So what are you working on at the moment?
The Multimeter app.
The Multimeter app. Tell us about the Tell us about the development. Is this your first time developing an app per se?
The first time developing on Android.
Developing on Android. Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
right.
Yeah.
Well, what other
so
platforms?
basically, in high school, even with even Windows Mobile, I was making apps.
Because you're a Microsoft fanboy.
Well, yeah, because
So you're a Windows fan, Windows Phone fanboy.
well, Windows Mobile was good because it was exactly like the same library for the phone as it was the computer. So
Right.
I had a
Oh, of course, it's Microsoft Windows. It's running Windows, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't really care for the platform, but I do care for the library that it has.
Right, and the commonness.
If I just you've seen
Yep.
me develop for Windows Phone for the app,
Yeah.
and that came together, basically flawlessly.
Oh yeah, of course it
No
works.
glitches,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
library inconsistencies. It was fine. But as soon as you get to Android, you get all these weird things. Like Android has some strange issues with BLE.
Yeah. BLE's been a pain. We'll talk about that afterwards. BLE. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, like Android 4.3 or something has an issue where it just closes the app because of a BLE thing, and it's nothing to do with the app.
Right.
So you have to there's not really a workaround on 4.3,
Right.
but there are on other.
On later version. What's
later
the latest version of Android?
What is it, like 7 or something?
4.7 or something.
Android. No, it's way up there now.
Oh, is
Latest,
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Version.
I don't think they're at 5 yet, are they?
8.
8? Oh, right. Oh, well. We're way behind. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So it'll work fine on that. Like,
Yep.
but Android 4.3 doesn't even support multiple simultaneous BLE devices, although
Right.
it actually should. But it is behaving weirdly when you put a second adapter, even though it behaves perfectly fine in Android 7, 8, 6.
Yep.
Yep.
Pain in the butt.
Yep.
And so cross-platform development, is it possible? Like true, I'm talking like the same code and just hit a button and it compiles Windows, Android, iPhone, Linux, and Mac.
So Linux is the tough boat because,
Right.
there's lots of different
Flavors
distros
of
Linux.
Distros, sorry, that's the lingo. Yeah.
They're for the most part, it's going to be the same, but there's little things with, there's just little things you have
Right.
to be aware of,
Yep.
and that makes it difficult. The only differences with our app at the moment are the BLE implementation for each
Yep.
device and the touchscreen implementation.
Got it. Of course, the interface, the user interface is going to be different.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
different platforms.
Basically, the hardware layer
Yep.
is different, but everything
Yep.
else is the same code.
Got it.
There's no...
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what you're shooting for, though, right? Is
Yeah.
you're trying to have a common code base across all of them.
Yeah, kind of like, it's two things. It's like more maintainable, and as you upgrade one platform, as long as you're not changing the hardware layer, the interface layer with the hardware, then any upgrades propagate to all platforms,
Right.
which is great.
Got it.
I mean, what more could you want?
There are. I asked this. I mentioned it or something on Twitter or somewhere or forum or somewhere, and most people who were app developers just said, yeah, most people just give up on true platform thing, and they just have like a lot of the code is common, of course.
Yeah.
But they just have separate compiled code bases for each platform. It's just easier in the end.
Yeah,
They reckon, but you're persevering.
I don't know. As soon as I got past that initial
Yep.
2-week hurdle of
Right.
what the hell is up with Android at the moment?
Yep. So there was a couple of weeks hurdle there, wasn't there? At least.
Yeah.
And this is what you working full time on it, pretty much.
Well, no.
Wasn't
So
it?
I was doing odd things here and there.
Oh, yeah.
About 2 days a week. So it was about 3 days a week for 2 weeks.
Right.
But those 3 days were pretty full time, maybe a little above.
Yep.
So
And then we hit the problem with BLE.
yes. So
What happened on BLE? It's better if you explain it.
So there are a few different
hang
types
on.
of Bluetooth.
Wait, we'll explain that. Back when I specified the multimeter, we got we want to add Bluetooth to it, and the manufacturer went, yeah, sure, we'll add Bluetooth, and we'll just use an off-the-shelf module. I went, great, thumbs up, no problem whatsoever. And they, it came back and they had this, what is it, the BLE 112, the Blue
Right.
Giga, and I thought, yeah, I've heard of that. We've even had the BLE guys on the podcast. It's a reputable module, no worries.
It's a nice module.
It's got great industry support. It's one of the most popular. Not a problem. So I didn't give it a second thought. And then
The module per se wasn't the problem.
No,
it's the whole technology.
the choice of BLE over Bluetooth 4.
Yes.
Because Bluetooth was originally, I believe, designed to be a serial port replacement, a wireless serial port replacement. And so it has good support for implementing serial ports, right?
Yeah. So
But BLE doesn't.
4.0 has the ability to act just like a COM port.
Yeah.
But
Which is what we had in mind for the multimeter. We wanted it to just, so that anyone, so you didn't even need to run an app. You could just have a terminal interface if you want and talk to COM port 4, and bingo, there's your data.
Yeah, but not so much. So it was actually really misleading. So we had this thing called the cable replacement mode.
Yes.
And you're like, serial cable, because it does replace a serial cable,
Yep.
and it acts like a serial port, but it's not supported in,
the Bluetooth drivers.
No.
Yeah, it's not supported at all.
And it's not like a plug and play COM
Yep.
port. It's
not a COM port like you can get on true Bluetooth.
No.
On Bluetooth 4. So the BLE implementation of a serial port using this cable replacement thing is just not the same. It doesn't implement the same at the driver level.
no.
At the Windows driver level or the Android driver level or whatever.
No, BLE is a special snowflake. I don't know who said that. Someone on the forum, maybe?
Probably, or I probably mentioned it. Special snowflake.
Yeah, each BLE implementation is a special snowflake. And
Yep.
we've got it it's relatively good now, but like,
Yes.
geez, we went through...
Oh, it was hell, wasn't it?
Yeah, BLE is annoying.
So, with hindsight, we wished we had chosen a Bluetooth module instead of BLE. Yes, BLE's lower power, but we've got 4 AA batteries in this thing. It probably wouldn't have mattered a huge amount anyway.
And the power, like, they have the ability to turn off the whole module.
Yes. So,
it would need to reconnect, but we could,
But it was too far down the track because it was already at the test house being tested for the Federal Communications FCC requirements, and you can't just go change your Bluetooth module at the last minute.
So BLE it was.
So we stuck with BLE, but you managed to get it working in the end with multiple devices. We thought multiple devices may not be possible.
Yeah. So I thought Android was never going to be possible because I'm testing on a 4.6 or something, like a
old Android
4.3, I think. Yep. Yeah. An old Android phone, and I thought, like, what the hell's wrong with my code? It's like you get to a point where you're like, there are no improvements to be made. Even like there are obviously some, but like no ones that would help it work.
Right.
I'm like, there's nothing that could block it,
Yep.
And it just didn't. And as soon as you connected to a new device, the old connection started behaving like the new one. So you just get echoed data.
Echoed data between. Oh no.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Oh. So how'd you fix it in the end?
So I moved to another library, assuming the library was the problem.
Right.
And because usually it is.
Yep.
And, and even the library I had at the time was buggy, and I assumed, that was true for...
And this is just a community library, or just some random dude's written on the internet, or what?
So, random dude.
Random dude, right. Who's kind of, sort of, the official random dude?
No, just a random dude. Yeah, It's got a good license and
okay.
Yeah.
So you chose another library.
Yeah,
and it worked.
No,
you had to tweak it.
No. So Dave got a new phone. And,
that's me, Dave.
Yeah.
Yes.
And before then, we had nothing really to see how it would behave on a later device. Yep. So when the new phone came in, I'm like, oh, can I grab your phone for a moment? I want to see how it goes. I didn't really expect Bluetooth to work, but I'm like, it might.
Right.
And it worked straight away.
Wow. We're talking to two different meters at once.
Yeah.
Sweet. So in theory, there's no limit, right?
I don't know. It'll probably have some...
It. Right.
No, yeah. Android has some issues with...
Does it store it in like an 8-bit variable and you can only have 256 devices or something? Or
I don't know. I don't know. That's at another layer of abstraction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it. So anyway, it's working and you wrote it all from scratch.
Basically.
So, trial by fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
In cross-platform app development.
Yeah.
It would have been much better if you weren't shooting for cross-platform, right?
I don't
assume
know.
It would have been easier. No,
I don't know, because then we would definitely have versioning issues.
Right.
So I don't actually think it's been that bad. There was a lot to catch up on Android anyway.
Got it.
Because it's very, very different the way it is. So I would have had to do all that anyway.
So we haven't tried...
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
So we haven't tried iPhone at the moment because neither of us have an iPhone. So we haven't tried...
But all the code on the Android... All the library I'm using for the Android is portable to the...
Right.
All the code...
So it should work.
For
so
Android
you're confident.
is portable, except for the touchscreen code.
Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high.
Yeah, except for
Name the movie. Sorry.
Not a clue.
Movie quoting. War Games. Sorry.
Oh, right, you know that.
You're right.
Dave was quoting it, like, when I first met him, he quoted quite a lot.
Did I? Right,
yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, you got to watch this movie, so I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. No.
Right.
Yeah.
So what tools did you use? You're using Visual Studio as the main code thingamabob.
Yeah, that's
the main compiler.
Yeah, that's the IDE I'm working with. It's not the compiler.
Oh, right.
I use the Mono compiler for Android and for
right.
for iPhones and for Mac and for Linux probably.
Right. So I thought Visual Studio could use its compiler, whatever that is.
Mono is
to
made
spin.
by Microsoft.
Oh, it is. Oh,
and
right.
and
Okay.
a whole bunch of other people. But
Right, okay.
you know, it's a
Got it.
yeah.
Got it.
So
But in theory, is that as simple as choosing the platforms you want, pressing compile,
Yeah.
and they all spit out?
yeah,
That's
yep,
that's the dream. That's the holy grail.
yeah, it does that now. So
Cool.
we'll see how it goes with
we've only
Mac.
tested on Windows and Android at the moment. We haven't
Yeah.
tested on Linux yet.
No.
No, or Mac.
Well, Linux will be cross-platform, but it requires a recompilation of the OpenGL stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
It's
So Linux may be the special snowflake out of them.
yes, Linux will be
Right.
the most annoying.
Okay.
Yep. Not because there's nothing inherently wrong with it.
Right.
It's just like
Yep.
that's the way it's going to be. Like,
Because we want this to be a desktop and a tablet app and a phone app.
Yeah.
We want the app to work across any sort of device, any platform.
yeah, we've hit 60. What
Yep.
Windows is? What are they sitting at now? 90%.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No idea.
So we've hit that, and we've got Android, which is the biggest platform for phones.
Yep.
And we've got
Yes.
Windows Phone is just a side effect of Windows working. That just happens to be true.
I hate iPhone only apps. It's like anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody actually wrote one this morning. They just emailed me this morning and said, "Hey, I've written an EEVblog app which sorts all your videos and everything, and it's available on iPhone. Do you mind if I release it?" No, not a problem. As long as you don't, say it's approved by me or whatever. I'm not fussed. But yeah, it's iPhone only. It's like I can't even test it.
It's like we wouldn't even know if it was
No.
slanderous. Like
No, exactly.
it could be
I know.
horrible.
That's why I don't endorse it. If I haven't tried it.
Can't open it. Yeah.
So Mac's annoying, isn't it? Tell us what you have to do to compile for Mac.
No, Mac's okay.
No, but
You mean the yes.
the hardware dongle.
I think so. The residual rivalry between Microsoft and Apple carries over
Right.
to app development. To develop for an iPhone, you need to have a Mac.
You have to own a Mac.
Yeah, and it has to be Visual Studio lets you put it on the network, and then it lets it work.
Right.
But
So it works like a hardware dongle. It must be present on the network, otherwise
I think it might
won't
compile it. I think it actually might perform the compilation on the Mac. I'm not really sure. It kind of
right,
happens.
okay.
It kind
Right.
of happens automatically. But
Got it.
yeah,
That's
it doesn't work until you
bloody
have
annoying.
one on the network. Yeah.
Although we're going to try a virtual cloud solution, aren't we? Isn't there virtual Mac or something? Some sort of cloud
Virtual Mac.
where you can rent a Macintosh on the cloud for a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
And
So bizarre.
just to solve this particular problem, right?
Someone's
because it is
made a
problem.
whole business
out of
out of this arbitrary
yeah.
restriction.
They probably make a great living from it.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's yes. Let that be a lesson to you. I think we've mentioned this on I've talked about it before on the Amp Hour. Yes, Bluetooth instead of BLE.
Yeah.
BLE is great if you're running something from a coin cell and that you want to work for 2 years off a CR2032 or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
Bluetooth is better. Isn't there Bluetooth 5 coming out or something?
Is there?
Somebody mumbled something to me.
Was that?
Somebody, I think
feel
on Twitter
I
mentioned.
feel like I might have said that.
Yeah, you might have said it or something.
And I don't even.
And it will solve the problems between BLE and Bluetooth 4 or something, apparently.
It better.
Bluetooth 5 explained on YouTube. There
Here we
you go.
go.
Somebody's already
It's totally
done
a
it.
thing.
Yeah, it is totally a thing.
In the S8 Galaxy.
Oh, right. Okay.
Promises twice the data transfer.
Oh, I don't care
Speed.
about that. I just want shit to work as a serial. This latest Galaxy 8 phone or whatever, and I still just want a bloody serial port. Just give me a serial port.
Yup.
Man.
Yup.
300 board. I'd be happy, 8 in 1,
Enough to just turn an LED on.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
So-
300
Right.
LEDs on, right? Every second or whatever. It's word speed or whatever, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so if people don't know, you work at the EEVblog full time now.
I do, yeah.
You turn down a real job and everything to
to
work at this, work in this hole.
Yeah.
Well, at least we've got a window here.
It's a real job. I'm
It's a real job. He's doing shit.
doing the hardware stuff and
Yep.
some software stuff.
Yep.
And yeah.
You will get back onto projects,
Yeah.
Because that's the idea, because I can't pay you to just make content.
No.
right? Because that doesn't, like if people don't know, I've done videos on this. Like even like a popular video might bring in $100 to $200 in ad revenue, right?
Yeah.
If it gets 100,000 views or whatever, $150-200 maybe.
Yeah, and how long do those take you?
And yeah, exactly. Like you can't pay somebody
Yeah.
even if you're working at slave labor wages,
our minimum,
still wouldn't.
Our minimum wage, what is it, like $21.50? So $200, 10 hours.
Right, yeah, I know, to make a bit like,
10 hours.
Yeah, it just doesn't really pay to make content. So the whole idea is to make projects.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, there's, things like the Multimeter. Multimeter's a project, but it's just software.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're just working on software. Or you've been doing some hardware testing and stuff, but...
Yeah, I guess I'm as much as a software guy as a hardware guy. So
yes, you are.
I'm happy to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Can we talk about your new product coming out? Or is that not a thing?
No, you can talk about it. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to talk. I don't know anything about it. It's just a cute little board that he keeps waving around in my face going, look at this, look at this.
Yeah, so over the last, I don't know how long, 'cause ages, I've been working on a little product, and it's got, it's basically a data acquisition device.
The size of a credit card?
Yeah.
It's the exact size of a credit card? That's what you're shooting for?
The actual board's smaller, but it's got a case.
A case which is the size of a credit card.
Yeah.
And literally the exact millimeter to millimeter dimensions?
Yeah, I think so, but they're not. They change country to country. Those the business card sizes. Yeah.
Credit cards change sizes.
I had to decide.
Right. Did you choose the Australian one or what?
No, I picked the one that was the
ISO
cleanest.
standard or something, or
anything with a decimal point. I was like, not that one.
Right, not the one. Okay, yeah.
Because I like to be able to divide by 2 for a while.
That's it, right? Of course. Yeah. Good man.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the thickness?
It's not the thickness of a credit card.
No,
like all these things are like the size of a credit card. They're not. They're not. They're not the volume of a credit card. They're the footprint of a credit card.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So it's about, what was it? Like 18 millimeters, I think.
Oh, that's pretty chunky.
Yeah, it's a chunky credit card. Yeah. It's not something you put in your wallet.
Yep. So it's a data acquisition thing designed primarily for the educational market.
And for academics, people doing robotics.
Yep. It's because it's high priced. It's not designed for the hobbyist, right?
Yeah, it's basically the device that academics can't afford to have a whole bunch of test equipment on their table.
Right. Yeah.
And they don't necessarily need standards class instruments.
And that's why the NI Virtual Bench, the National Instruments Virtual, it's like $5,000. Or we've got it over there. That's right. But it's got everything built into the one box, which sits on the desk.
Yeah, and it's actually if you were to buy the things it has, it's a lot cheaper.
Yep.
That's the logical. The NI thing, that's pretty good. But this is it's somewhat cheaper again.
Yep.
With I think it's actually pretty similar specs. In
cool.
terms of acquisition stuff, but I got nothing compared to their software support is what you pay for.
That's I was going to say that is like the hardware almost doesn't matter. It's what's in the software that matters, and the educational material that goes behind it. So that's why a lot of companies like Tech and I was going to say Agilent Keysight put when they sell educational scopes, they don't just sell the scope at a cheap price. They sell the whole classroom learning kit that goes along with it, which is all the material, all the teaching material and everything else.
Yeah.
So the teachers just go, material, I can just give it I don't have to write it. I can just give it to the students. Fantastic. My job done. I'll pay any cost you like for that, right? I mean, you've taught, right?
Yeah. So, and that's, it's the actual volume of these instruments, though, is also a problem.
Right.
So that doesn't solve that problem. It's still pretty large for a hot desk.
Right. Okay.
So a lot of universities are actually moving towards hot desks.
Ah, interesting.
Which, now...
For students.
For academics.
Oh, for the academics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is really tough for a guy who needs test equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically impossible.
Wow.
So,
is this like a thing, or is it just at your uni because you're running out of space? But you've got your new
we've got 10 buildings or something.
I know, exactly.
And there's a new building going up every year or something. Yeah. Like a large building. No.
So it's not.
It's just a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a new philosophy thing, just like open plan workstations were a thing in the 90s or whatever.
Yeah, people convinced themselves it was a good idea and it was the right thing by everyone without any real
got it. without any real feedback from people.
No.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. It was designed by a committee.
I don't even know if it was. Like, maybe that would have turned out better. Like,
Right. No, nothing. Generally, nothing designed by committee turns out well. Everyone knows that. Anyway, so yeah, hot desking. Wow.
Yeah,
So you can pick up all your crap at the end of the day. Hence why you're a Microsoft Surface tablet
Hence
thing.
why,
Because like it's a tiny form factor and you just pick it up and go.
Yeah. I actually did have an office. I was one of the lucky people who got an office. But same thing applies. I was a student. I had to work wherever I was.
Didn't you have an office next to the WAS?
Yeah.
Apparently?
Where he was going to be allocated.
Where was going to
he
be
never
allocated.
turned up.
He never turned up.
I never saw him.
He was an adjunct professor at the University of
He probably
Technology.
still is. I don't know.
He probably still is, but
Yeah.
but you've never seen him.
No, I was really excited.
Yeah, right.
I was like,
Yeah, the WAS is next to me.
yeah.
Yep. Cool. Maybe if you
was
share,
like,
a hot desk with the one.
No, he would definitely get an
right,
office.
he would
He'd
get
probably
his own
take
office.
my old office.
Right.
It's like free now, so
Boot out this young whippersnapper.
give it to an adjunct.
Yeah. What is an adjunct professor?
I think it's one that
Is it a very loosey-goosey definition?
Yeah, probably.
Right.
I think it means that they're not like a permanent staff. They're
Yes,
like a
yeah,
professor, but
they just come and go as they
it's like an honorary professor
right.
that might come and
might come occasionally and give a talk or give a lecture or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Adjunct professor.
We're doing advanced stuff. Google in here, folks.
Nope. Don't know.
Don't know.
That didn't help.
Too hard.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So you didn't want to stay in academia? You wanted to get out into the real world? Because you had a pretty cushy job there.
I did.
Oh, well.
It was great.
It was cushy, but also you were like a one-man band too, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great job. But like I have nothing against being academic. I'd be
right.
totally open to doing that at some point. But I think
Right.
people should be not an academic before they teach.
Right. Yes.
Before they,
right.
like,
It should
even-
be compulsory, you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would enforce that philosophy on myself. Kind
Right.
Of thing. Like,
okay. Get out in the real world.
Yeah.
Not that the EEVblog's a real world, but you have worked in the real world before. You have had
Yeah.
a job before.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Yep. And that was at a design house.
Yeah. Yeah. That was in Chatswood at the time.
Right. Is that a...
It was actually where the other offer was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So you turned down a design house to come here.
Yeah.
Is it...
Great. That was a great job too. Really,
right.
really
Okay.
great people.
Is it the stereotype of what I've heard of that they work your ass off?
Oh, yeah.
And the deadlines are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
Right. If you're not into stress,
Yeah.
like if you don't thrive on stress, don't work for a design house.
No.
Because
no.
is it because they promise ridiculous deadlines to customer without asking the real engineers first?
No,
Or is it-
that place was quite good about that.
Right, okay.
Their deadlines were, I think, pretty close to reasonable.
Okay, but who would make the decision on the deadline? Would it be the poor schmuck who's got to do the job?
It was the CEO.
Right, okay.
But as far as I was aware.
But they usually have vast experience.
The CEO there is
right.
actually quite, a
Yep.
decent design engineer themselves.
Yeah,
So,
right. They probably most likely started the design house. It was just them.
Yeah.
So they're so used to doing.
Yeah,
that.
it was. If I remember right, it was them and a youngster from UNSW,
Right.
who ended up working there for like five years or something,
Yep.
and then he's
and then burn out.
then they started their own business. Yeah.
Right, okay.
And now I think they're
Yeah.
touring Europe or something.
All right.
Yeah.
Academia. So it's not as bad as it sounds, especially if you get tenure, right? That's what
Yeah.
everyone's after.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea.
You
I'm
kind
not
of
sure
like the idea of a job for life. Is that?
No, I like the opposite. Tenure is there's no pressure to achieve. I need a little bit of pressure.
Right. Okay.
Most people do,
Yep.
right? You just need
Yep.
something.
Well, we've mentioned this on the Amp Hour a
Pure
million
cushy
times.
is hard to-
Engineers thrive on deadlines. We always make deadlines.
Yeah.
We're just brewing it, doing it somehow.
Yeah.
That's what makes us an engineer instead of an academic, really.
Yeah, we're given a project.
Yeah.
Our second question
Yep.
after getting specs is when do you need it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. So, yes, he turned out a real job to work here, folks. And anyway, let's go through some of the... we got some random Reddit stuff, don't we? So we'll just
Yeah.
crap on about What's happening? Oh, in the business. What was the, yes, Qualcomm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the blog a few months back. The blog.
So Qualcomm were
Podcast,
acquiring NXP. I think it
They
was
were.
through a shares kind of
So,
thing.
yeah, or some... Yep.
Some weird share buying thing where...
Yep.
But it looks a bit sketchy at the moment because the European Commission are kind of investigating, I think, Qualcomm.
So is that why or is it because it's the money or a money situation, or is it just because of a legal investigation kind of thing?
Well, apparently the shareholders it's two things. So apparently the shareholders are looking for a higher value because they were like
okay,
that.
right.
They were like that was not high enough.
Right.
Like, NXP is pretty
Yeah.
substantial, and
Oh, yeah.
Freescale I think they own now.
Yeah.
They are Freescale now too. So
What was the value? What was the
I don't know.
like
but
30 billion or something? I don't know.
It's
And I'm
pretty high.
sure it would have been here. I'm sure it's not a couple of billion. Geez, I'd buy it at a couple of billion.
would you?
Yeah, I'll just go and get the money on Kickstarter.
Yeah, What would that mean as an investment for every one of your viewers? It wouldn't even be that. It would not be small.
That'd be hilarious if there was a tiny manufacturer somewhere and someone started a crowdfunding campaign to try and save them,
Yeah. So
Anyway, so it may not go through.
no.
It may be blocked, or it may just fall through financially.
It's probably just a big delay.
Right, okay.
It's
All right.
probably going to still happen, which
I think the people with the money always win.
I really
Yeah.
like NXP, so I hope they still stick to what they're doing.
Right. Yep.
And, acquisitions can do whatever to a company.
Yep.
Like, where's Freescale right now?
I don't know.
NXP ate them. Like,
There's been, we could not keep up on the amp hour. Every week we were doing at one point, some companies bought another, and it was impossible. Somebody did a map. We posted a map once of it. Somebody actually tried to document who bought who, and it was just, wow.
is it monopolizing or enough new groups coming in to stop that?
It didn't look that. I don't think didn't look that monopolistic to me. But every time you heard it, it felt like it was monopolistic. But I think the reality was less than you thought it was. So,
On
anyway,
the note of monopolies,
yeah.
Samsung has just surpassed Intel.
Oh, it's the world's #1 chip maker.
That's right.
It must be because Intel got out of the Internet of Things market and they just collapsed.
That was
Such a huge market for them.
It was a passion decision, not an economic one. Totally, no.
just in sheer sales volume, right? It's sheer numbers, right? So it's not like money numbers.
Yeah.
So it's not volume or anything. Like
I think it might be both.
might be both. Okay.
Because their operating profit's 7.1 billion, and the whole market's worth like 365 billion.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty big market. So I don't know. Has the market increased?
Have they got like a pie chart of where Samsung get most of their money from? Is it from the memory? Is that a?
Samsung have tentacles in everything.
Yeah, they have everything.
I think they have like even.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure there's a mining group.
Samsung mining.
Yeah, let me just fact check myself. Samsung mining for ad blocked.
It reminds me when Daewoo got into computers. I actually had a Daewoo computer. Hands up if you remember Daewoo. Like the big engineering, the big Korean. I think they were South Korean, weren't they? Yeah, I think, and they were a big mining, industrial company, and they got into computers, and then,
Yeah, well, Daewoo were relatively large, but
Yep.
Samsung are 17% of South Korea's GDP.
Yes, it practically is South Korea.
Yeah, 17% of it. The GDP at least. That's
enormous.
or 20% is it? So I'm getting mixed numbers here.
No one would even come close in any other country. Sure.
As a percentage of GDP, I would think so. What was that? There's that Indian group. They make cars. They make.
The Tata or is it Tata?
Tatas, yeah.
Tata. I was in the Tata. Well, it wasn't the factory. It was like the Tata warehouse in the UK. Once this was like
Tata Motors,
17 years ago or something. Yeah, and oh god, they were bad.
Really?
Those Tatars. Oh my goodness, you have no idea. I'm going to try and find the largest U.S. company.
Well, that isn't that Google. That's Alphabet.
Oh yeah,
That's Alphabet. Are they a trillion yet? Are they worth? I think they might be really close at this
I
point.
don't know. Economy of the United States. No, I don't know. We could 25 U.S. mega corporations.
So Alphabet's currently.
Has it got a percent of GDP? You would have to know what the GDP is and then calculate the percentage yourself, I'm sure. So, yep. Apparently, General Electric is the size of New Zealand in terms of GDP.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yahoo's bigger than. I wonder if they're still bigger than Mongolia. Yahoo's bigger than Mongolia's GDP, apparently.
And Walmart, if Walmart were a country, its revenues would make it on par with the GDP of the 25th largest economy in the world. Wow.
Well, what's Australia?
I don't know, but we're bigger than New Zealand, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But
much.
Mongolia's GDP. So Yahoo are worth more, have more revenue than Mongolia.
That's really surprising.
What? Where do Yahoo make their money? Nobody uses Yahoo.
Is Yahoo Answers still a thing?
I don't know. Like, I still use Flickr. Or did they sell off Flickr? No, they turned it into a pay-only thing or something.
Is Tumblr a profitable thing?
I don't know.
That's Yahoo,
like,
right?
But yeah, I don't know. Yahoo is. I don't understand how Yahoo have ever made money. It's just, yeah, I don't get it. Anyway, we could go through one of these infographic. Visa's bigger than Zimbabwe. Okay, now we're getting into one of these.
But
eBay's bigger than Madagascar. Yeah, okay.
Amazon's the up-and-comer at the moment, I think.
Oh yes, Jeff Bezos is now the most the richest dude in the world.
I think that only lasted 10 days.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who. I think probably Bill Gates again. But
but Bill Gates gave away $30 billion last year.
Yeah, is Bezos doing that stuff?
I know. Well, he's funneling money into his rocket company, but apart from that, who's Con Anderson? Never heard of him. Yeah.
Anyway,
Amazon.com is bigger than Kenya. 32 billion. 34 billion. There you go. So it's not as big as you think, but anyway.
Yeah. So, what do we have?
No. Okay, this is Apple's bigger than Ecuador, and Microsoft is bigger than Croatia. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. Costco is bigger than somebody like Sudan, Wells Fargo, Angola. Oh, jeez. Wow. Speaking of Angola, I had the option to go to Angola at a former company I worked at.
Really? What
said,
were they
hey,
doing there?
Dave, do you want to oil? Because I worked at a oil surveying company, and Angola's an oil hotspot.
Yes.
And Dave, do you want to go to Angola? It's it's completely safe. You'll have an armed guard the whole time. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, does that make you feel less or more safe?
Yeah, I know.
Is the armed guard safe?
Yes,
Do
exactly.
I have a guard?
Have they paid that guard enough, or will he determine that he can get more for ransoming me off than what he got paid by the company to?
Right. Does that happen?
That happens.
That would be
Actually does.
What a trap!
It does happen. Yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk.
Yeah.
Countries and politics.
So I think what was Freescale? So back to NXP stuff. So NXP that was like a 30-something billion deal, and Freescale was like 17 of that.
Something.
Or something.
I don't know.
In those
Freescale are pretty huge.
Yeah.
Still are. Are they still the number one? They were the number one
for automotive.
Microcontroller manufacturer in the world because of the automotive market.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if they still are I don't know if they're now all NXP umbrellaed.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't followed. I just gave up trying. And in other news, straight off the teletype, the Arduino war is over. We've talked about this before. How it was a battle of the two competing founders of Arduino. One, Federico Musto, who owned the trademark, and he owned the company Arduino AG, which owned the trademark. And then there's Massimo Banzi, who's the most well known. He's the face and the, generally considered the, the founder of the Arduino thing. He was the chairman and CEO of Arduino, but not Arduino AG, which held the trademark. Anyway, there was they were supposed to form this corporation that merged the two together, and everyone got up in arms about it. And he's apparently Federico Musto has been bought out. So now Massimo Banzi owns 100% of Arduino AG, or him and his company own 100% of Arduino AG, and in turn the trademark. So Federico Musto is Gonski.
Wow.
And a lot of people will say, well, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. I don't know. Shouldn't really go any further. It's over. It's all done and dusted. So I'm not sure where the money came from. I'm not sure how much they paid him, or whether or not they've made offers to him in the past. I would presume they have, back when, because these two companies were filing trademark lawsuits against each other, and they were battling that out for like a year or something. And anyway, it's all done and dusted.
That's finally.
Banzo beat Musty. It's all over. So,
Wow.
Yep.
Is
Musto's
this good?
gone.
Is this good or bad? I don't know.
You ask almost anyone, they'll say it's good. Because I don't know too many people who liked Musto. He just wasn't the... Yeah, it's like, he falsified his credentials and claimed he graduated from MIT, was it? I think, and he didn't. And
Wow, can you just do that? You just claim you graduated from wherever.
Graduated from wherever, and
Wow.
Anyway.
How did he? Wow.
Anyway, there were a lot of people who didn't like that and didn't trust him. So anyway, he's gone. So.
Yeah.
Yep, it's all over. They all own the trademarks now. But I don't know. Will people go back to? There's a lot of people who did not support Arduino on principle because of the war and all that sort of stuff. Now that that's over, will people go back and become loyal and buy Arduino hardware again? I don't know.
I won't.
Anyway, right? No. Well,
No.
there's just because there's so many clones out there that are.
Yeah.
Cheaper, so they have to make their money somewhere else because it's probably not going to be in the hardware.
Do you think Arduino
Space.
is still going to continue to expand? I think it's on the tail end of its...
The software platform, yes, because the software platform is brilliant. I mean,
Yes.
Arduino practically has nothing to do with the hardware anymore.
As the hardware
The
platform.
hardware, it doesn't matter. It's the software platform that matters, and the software platform is brilliant.
Do you think the hardware platform's going to mean anything in 5 years?
No, it won't, because people can write their own plugins for their own Arduino compatible board for the Arduino environment. That's what Intel done and all that.
Yeah.
All those companies, they wrote I don't know, is it called a plugin? I don't know what the technical term is, but yeah, you integrate it with the Arduino environment, and then yes, the board Arduino then has support for that board, and it just handles everything in the background, all the compilers, all the nasty stuff. Just magically is taken care of for you.
How do you feel about those, there's the PC combined Arduinos, so you get these little, Raspberry Pi things with an integrated Arduino. I think, doesn't that seem a bit redundant?
It seems a bit redundant. That's the Latte Panda has that.
It's not only that, there was another...
there's other ones.
Yeah.
In fact, the Intel Atom has that. The Intel ones had that, didn't they? They had an Intel Atom plus an Arduino plus an AVR core in them or something, or was that running in FPGA or something? I can't remember the exact details, but it seems it seems redundant.
Because if they can write just any plugin and then support the language, they have their own little compiler backend.
Yeah, but you can't you can't, because the Arduino environment's designed for lower level stuff. It's not like you're going to be able to do this huge GUI interface using the Arduino environment. It's just there might be the
it's
odd
only
thing
for
out
AVRs
there.
though, right?
No, it's for any platform.
Really?
Yeah, now it started out as AVR because that's Arduino. When they made the first board, it was an AVR.
It was an AVR.
But then people decided, we don't have to use an AVR if we just integrate the compiler hidden behind hidden behind the GUI interface, it doesn't matter. So then people started using PICs in there,
Yeah.
and then they started using ARMs, and
There
then
are PIC Arduinos.
there are PIC Arduinos.
Wow.
It's called the PICduino,
Wow.
I think. There are PIC Arduinos.
How do these things
I think
happen?
that was one of the first. It was
Wow.
like, somebody decided, I like the PIC32. So therefore, the chip, what is it?
the thing called a chip.
It's called the chip. Is it the chip Duino? Who's the company? Who make all those educational kits? They do I'm talking out my arse. I should try and find it. Anyway, yeah, there's PIC ones and there's ARMs and there's other processors and stuff like that. So, chip kit. If you search for chip kit, it's the chip kit. Oh, chipkit.net now. Oh, anyway, discontinued by Digilent, is it? No, it was from Digilent. No, they still make it. They've just got their own website now, and it's an Arduino clone which uses the PIC32 processor.
I never understood Arduino. I guess I was too early to the bandwagon because
Right.
I guess a lot of the old the people who
Yeah, but it's
programmed
not
on
aimed at
PICs
guys
and-
like you and me. Like, it's not.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not at all.
It's not aimed at us. I mean, who can write low-level microcode?
No.
It's just, and figure out compilers and stuff like that. But Arduino, there's something to be said for just being able to, use the write function and write to a pin and specify the pin. You don't have to set it up. You don't have to.
It's
you know.
true. A lot of the Launchpad libraries, they do the same thing.
Oh yeah,
A lot of
there's nothing unique about Arduino. People think Arduino changed the world with this thing. Maybe, well, you could argue they did because it became popular, but they weren't the first.
Yeah, it was like the Apple of
It's like
little microcontroller
They were
development
around
boards.
since you were itching your daddy's pants.
Yeah,
These
they
things about
made them
being around.
They popularized it.
They popularised it,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean,
and
it's a fine
and went
platform,
mainstream.
but,
Yep. No, and they rode the coattails of the open source and vice versa, of the open source hardware movement. And once again, there's nothing new about open source hardware,
No.
in quote marks. It's been around since day dot.
Yeah. Might not have been called that.
No,
but,
no, it wasn't called that,
But
right?
the designs were freely available
Exactly,
and everyone had them.
and everyone
So-
had them, and and you could do anything you want with them, and nobody complained, and and you're happy to reuse it and all that sort of jazz. It just got more formal and structured and licensed and all that sort of stuff with the open source licenses, and So anyway, the Arduino war's over, so we don't have to. Last time we'll talk about that. Yay,
Yes.
yay, Massimo. Anyway, still a great platform. Right. What else have we got?
Well, let's have a look.
There's a balancing robot kit. You've been yapping on to me about.
I've made lots of these. These are great.
Self-balancing robots. You said, "Oh, I can we'll just do a video in like 10 minutes of doing a like."
I didn't say 10 minutes.
Oh well, you were pointing towards.
I reckon it would take about a day. 3D
Right.
printer, about a day.
It always takes long. He's a young whippersnapper.
I'm an optimist.
He's an optimist.
It's a chronic disease.
Yes, it's chronic. It'll take a day, and I just roll my eyes every time he says it. And little self-balancing robot kit. Yeah, every man and his dog's doing those.
They're fun.
Yep.
Self-balancing stuff's great.
Yeah.
It's one of the best platforms for control theory stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very
For sure.
past the linear region, which is just
Yep.
balancing right at the top when it's basically perfectly upright. It becomes really hairy. The algorithm, the maths behind the control, the control theory becomes quite hairy. And in fact, even academic papers about this,
Yeah.
they end up simplifying the model for the most part to a point where it's basically unrecognizable.
Right.
Beyond the point of stability. So I always thought when I read these, I'm like, why are you putting all this effort into this algorithm where you've just removed the second most significant part when it's unstable? Aren't you controlling it for instability?
Right. Yep.
So you'll often see these things, if you push them quite fast, they don't only they don't just overcorrect. They totally flip out.
Right.
Or basically nothing because they don't have the response time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the classic project is not a balancing robot; it's the ball on beam balancer.
Yeah,
Have you guys, that's been going around for 50 years or something.
It's a substantially more simple mathematical model. I think it's like 7 on s squared. If it is the whole model,
Right.
Like that is a simplification, but that's okay because you never move it past like 10 degrees.
Got it.
And for anyone who's listening, like if you don't move a sinusoid, it's basically a straight line, like a linear a line of gradient 1 across the x and y intercept, the middle bit.
Yep.
And that's like a sine wave. Sine wave does the same thing. And so you can just take this like approximation where a sine is a straight line.
Right. At that point.
It's from the series approximation. So if you look at the bloody series name,
Is
Taylor
that
series or
the
whatever.
I was going to say Taylor series, yes. I think it's the Taylor series, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're math boy. Come on. You're supposed to be math boy.
I don't remember nouns good.
And he does actually have a genuine problem with nouns. It's like a weird.
It's weird.
Yeah, he's like completely weirdo.
Yeah, so you
I'd
can
be talking
represent
out
in a sine wave. You can
in
represent
a
a sine
Taylor.
wave.
You can do it with the Taylor series.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The McLaren series.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, the ball on beam balancer. That just reminds me of Bob Pease, rip rap.
Hey.
People will get that rip rap.
Is that rep rap but rip
Rap. Robert A. Pease.
What?
He called him rap. That was his. He always signed his articles with rap at the end. Rap. Anyway, that was initial. So and rip, rest in peace, Bob Pease. Anyway, he did a famous a couple of articles on the ball on beam balancer, and he solved it using a analog system because he's an analog guru, right? With a grey beard, and he stroked his beard and came up with a schematic. And
yeah, you look at his schematic here. Dave's got it on the screen, and it's basically it's an integrator, differentiator, just with an adder, basically. It's
if you can figure out Bob Pease's schematics, they're famously what's the word?
Well, this is the proportional.
I'm trying to look at the
So when you have a differentiator like this, and they have this divider going into like a relatively.
No one can see you pointing at the screen.
Oh, that is true.
Thinks he's doing a screen capture.
This is going to go. This is
Yep.
Sorry, listeners.
Yep. Anyway, Rap has labelled this. I'll put the photo up in the show notes. Anyway, yes, it is a differentiator circuit, and there's a derivative path feedback. There's 2 derivative paths. Yes. Anyway, and then there's a servo system, which drives all that and feeds back in multiple weird and wonderful ways. And he tweaked his grey beard, and this is apparently the Duck Scuts ball on beam balancer. None of that software rubbish.
Well, the software stuff can do the same thing.
Yeah. That's bullshit. That's cheating.
And some ways it can be kind of better.
Nah.
Because you can't. There's certain things you can't do. I think it's called a bang bang controller actually, but that's you can have your simplified control model of something broken into different sections of a control model. So it's not just the straight line. Now you're approximating. What is this?
I don't know. We're looking at some girl group video. What are you Googling there, David?
I'm trying to. Yeah, it's a bang bang control. So you can basically swap between.
Don't Google bang bang, folks. Let's.
Yeah, that was had a bit of a moment.
Right.
Dave's freaking out. Like what's on the screen? I'm not even looking.
Like trying to Google stripper. I need a pair of wire strippers. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Bang Bang Control. There's a Wikipedia. Of course, there's a Wikipedia page for Bang Bang Control.
It's basically one of the most simple control algorithms in existence, but it basically means you just swap between control algorithms or just turn it off and on with hysteresis.
Right.
Which is the typical one.
Kind of that's the Heath Robinson approach, is it? to Bang Bang Control.
Yeah, they're like very, very simple, but that's super, super simple and fast to do in software. But you need like comparators and you need like analog muxes to do that kind of thing. It's much simpler in software.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep. My favourite programming language is still Solder.
Did you say solder?
Solder. Yeah.
I wonder if that's an actual. I know what you mean, but I wonder if that's an actual programming language.
Of course, it's called Solder.
Yeah, it is. It is. Solar programming language.
No, it's not. It's Bob Pease. It's
You Bob Pease got me.
You've been peased.
I have. He got me.
Well done. Young whippersnappers.
I don't know this man.
You don't know Bob Pease. Oh. Join me in the chant. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. We are not worthy.
Is that him?
That's Bob Pease. No, that's not him. That's from the that's from the Wayne's World.
Yeah. No, that we did that originally with the Horowitz and Hill book.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. The Horowitz and Hill book.
Yeah.
Yes, we did a fun video. Yep.
Yeah.
With the 2001 Space Odyssey. Yeah. No, that's Bob Pease. He's the ultimate greybeard. Yep.
Well,
So,
I
will educate this young whippersnapper.
If
It's
he's
okay,
into
folks.
control theory, I like him.
He's into everything.
Yeah.
Guru.
Control theory is the best.
He's the czar of band gaps.
The czar of band gaps. How does one be a czar?
He was given the title Czar of Band Gaps at National Semiconductor. He worked at National Semiconductor. He was the Czar of Band Gaps. Google it. Google Czar of Band Gaps.
I have to look up definition of czar
Oh,
first.
Czar, come on. Aren't you into your Russian history?
No, I just don't think it is. He Russian?
No, he's not. I don't think he is.
I'm not getting anything but czar.
Certainly doesn't have a Russian accent. No, Tsar, T-S-A-R.
Oh, because
No,
I was playing what's that game?
Some people spell it Z as well. Z.
Because Zara is short for pizza.
Right,
So to
no.
me, you were saying
Come on, Google
the
it.
pizza
Google it.
of band gaps.
No.
So I'm like, I don't know what this means.
Ah,
Oh, Tsar.
yes.
I can't say
As
that.
in a Russian Tsar.
Yeah.
You know, some people spell it C-Z-A-R,
Tsar.
some people say T-S-A-R, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, anyway, if we go to Google Images for the Tsar of Band Gaps, there he is, Tsar of Band Gaps.
How did they get him to do that? Someone has got him to go in
There we go,
full
look at
dress.
this, look at this. Yeah, yeah.
A
That's,
Russian Tsar.
That's it. Tsar of Band Gaps. Classic Peas.
Was
Yep.
he a character within the company or like?
Oh yeah,
or
he
was
was a
it-
character within the entire industry. He used to write a column in the Electronic Design magazine.
Was it especially
What's
was
all
he
this-
especially novel or especially charismatic or both?
Oh, both. He was eccentric, you know, and
Yeah.
as all good wise old greybeards are. And he was famous.
Wow.
Yep. You young whippersnappers. Anyway, he's got a whole story about how he became the Tsar of Band Gaps. See, there's rap. Robert A. Pease. See, there you go. He's learning, folks. He's learning.
I heard there was like a big fad with 3-letter initials because of old computer database systems. So
What?
apparently, Computer File, the channel was talking about it,
Yeah.
how you often see greybeards like signing off with 3-letter initials. And apparently,
Interesting.
that was their little tag on their computer system.
Ah.
Is that what that is?
No, that's just his initials of his name. No, I don't know, because he was anti-computer. He was anti-computer, anti-simulator. None of this simulator
Hence
rubbish.
hence the analog controller.
Oh, he's of
Yeah.
course, yeah. He was totally against, yep. And he did articles debunking fuzzy logic at the time. Fuzzy logic was all the rage back in the 90s or something, late 80s, early 90s.
People just stopped talking about it.
I think they stopped talking, or did it morph into another name? I don't know what happened to fuzzy logic. What happened to it? It was like everyone thought this is the artificial intelligence of the future. We've figured it out. It's fuzzy logic, and I think it just died in the arse.
I guess it's like there's derivative concepts.
Right.
Maybe
yeah, for sure.
So
For sure. Artificial and fuzzy logic explain but I've never heard anyone use the term for the last probably 15 years.
yeah,
Gotta be.
Nah.
It's Gonski. Well, what happened to fuzzy logic? This makes great radio. Googling always. Whatever happened to fuzzy logic? E times 2012.
Here we go.
Quora. It's also on that Quora. What is that website? It's the question and answers website, isn't it? Quora?
Do they just database?
I don't know.
Things, or do they actually have a
I
form?
think they have humans on there who reply. So, In many fields, this approach is still widely used. For example, in robotics, there's a great number of projects based on fuzzy logic. You can blah, 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 blah. No. Back in the 1980s, I was getting excited. The father of Lotfali Zadi. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Lotfali Zadi is the father of fuzzy logic, having done most of the mathematical groundwork. Wow. He was born in Azbekaijan in Russia in 1921. There you go. Outstanding mathematician.
So it's control theory.
Yeah, I won't even speak to pretend I know a thing about fuzzy logic.
Well, the guy you were talking about used it for a doubly inverted pendulum.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
I think.
Yep. All right. So it was probably that. But yeah, it was going to be the savior of artificial intelligence, like humanoid robots like we were promised in the 1980s. By 2000, we'll all have a home humanoid robot,
I don't want a home. I don't want a robot. Do you want a robot?
No, I don't really want a robot. No, I'd just end up kicking it.
Yeah, it would be.
My way.
It would just be annoying. Like,
I like. It's like
even if it did all the stuff for you, I don't want to be. I don't want to be
know.
like a slug. Like just like do things for me. Like, what's the point of that? Like, I'll be like not Jabba the Hutt. Is that right? Is that the giant slug guy?
Yeah, Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt. Thank you. I said it wrong.
Yep, Jabba the. Yes, not Jabba.
Yeah.
Jabba.
Yeah. I don't want to be like that. Like, that's what the robotics future is. We're all going to be.
Right.
That's what his race clearly invented robotics.
Well, isn't that the what's that animated Wall-E thing? Is that the Wall-E?
Yeah.
Movie? Aren't they all like on spaceships and they're all just like so fat they can't move? And,
yeah.
Like,
They have assistive wheelchairs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The future.
I don't think that's it. Like, I don't see a market for. I think enough people would just be like, "Nah, that sucks."
Yeah.
I hope there's not a market for that because they can be slug people, yet we'll be the incompetitive. Like, we'll be not competitive. Like,
I just can't see them being versatile enough. They just like,
robotics.
I just can't like and by the foreseeable future, I mean like when Sagan. When Sagan turns 20 or whatever in 15 years time, like there won't be a home robot on the market. Like, I just don't see it.
Well, I would bet there would be. I would say there would be because they're for the most part, they're not programming systems with like hundreds of rules. While they have rules, they're mostly.
But what's the robot going to do?
Learn to learn.
Yeah, but to do what? To do what? What function? Like you might pay $5,000 for this robot. What's it going to do for you? Well, they had robots back in the 80s and they bought your beer around and they had a radio in them so you can turn on a CD player.
Well, it will definitely drive.
A tape drive.
It will definitely drive most of, it will be the driver for most people, right?
The cars.
At the least.
I still think there's a massive hurdle there and for foreseeable future, I don't think it's going to be as popular or near as close as people think it will be.
Well, people will the families that have self-driving cars. This is how it's inevitable. The families that have self-driving cars, their children won't learn to drive.
Right.
So
but
then they will also get self-driving cars, and that's an exponential growth from the family model.
Once again, I use my boy Sagan as the example, or even Huxley, who's a couple of years younger, 4 years younger, right? When they grow up and learn to drive, they will learn to drive. There will not be, in 15 years, I'm calling it. I think I've done this on the show before. I'm calling it. In 15 years, when Sagan's or Huxley's old enough to get his driver's license, it won't be redundant because of driverless cars.
Well, that
is my prediction.
Some of my friends, they've just decided not to buy a car.
Right, I know.
They're ready for self-drivers.
But most of your friends are young university students living in the city, right?
That's exactly the truth. But But as more self-driving cars come into existence, the push for legislation to enforce them will get stronger and stronger because traffic, for example, if you can have every car going flat out through intersections, just cars weaving together, which is possible,
Of course, if they had 90% of driverless cars on the
road, and they would have to have awareness.
Reach a critical mass.
They would have to have awareness of the non-self-driving cars.
Right.
But as soon as you get that, legislators will be pushing for it because that's cheaper than upgrading infrastructure, right?
Yes, but I'm not
Because it pushes the expense to the taxpayer.
I'm debating the time period of getting there.
Yeah.
People don't realise the pushback there will be on this tech.
Well, there needs to be pushback. Like India's, I think, blocking it at the moment.
Right.
So they're blocking parts of this because it would disrupt
Hang
their
on,
economy.
but you said they need a pushback, but you're for it.
No,
You
I'm
think
not.
it's gonna
I'm
happen?
definitely against it.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think it's going to happen.
Right.
But I'm
what's your time frame prediction on it? Like, as
10
in
years.
it becomes... See, I don't think... There's no chance in hell it's going to happen in 10 years.
10 years, you'll start seeing them, in car parks. You'll be like, holy shit, there's no one in that car.
No.
And then it will start to become like this thing you become aware of.
So, see, like, I was doing this the other day, right? I was driving in the underground car park here. I was, like, driving out, right? And I was going, how would a driverless car do this?
They already do.
Right? Yeah, but, like, okay, so there's no GPS reception, right? So it doesn't know where it is.
But they don't need GPS reception.
No,
There's
but-
a mapping technology called SLAM, and it's been around for the last 10 years.
Yeah, but what, you've got to put the mapping hardware in the car park?
It already is. No, it's in the cars.
It's in the cars, right?
Most
so it's
self-driving-
all visual,
Yeah, no.
right? Then how does it do it?
So there's a few different ways. They have lots of sensors. They have radars. They also have a LiDAR. Most of them use about the same LiDAR too.
Yeah, but, like...
It's great for that company.
There's just so many... There's just almost an infinite number of combinations and permutations of car parks and back alleys and side streets that have no signs and this and that,
right.
and it's like I just can't see them. Like,
But
they might be able to go from where it knows from a pre-programmed a nice street onto the highway and then get there. Right, they can do that now, right? But when it encounters anything remotely troublesome, it's just going to throw up its hands.
So actually, we're already at, I think, level 3 for Audi. Audi have already reached level 3 autonomy. So
What's that?
That means you don't need the driver. Audi will take on, if there's an accident, Audi, I believe means Audi are like, we'll take it. That's us. They think their car is safer to drive all the time than the driver.
No, but I'm talking about practicality of, look, I just trying to encounter situations that aren't predicted. They're not, they just don't know how to do it. Where a human does it with absolute ease.
See, that's the thing,
In a
though.
split second.
It doesn't work the way that old algorithms did. So basically, it's a big AI. It's like not...
Sure, I understand that, but
it's not necessarily an AI.
Until I see one drive...
It's learning. It's improving itself with,
I
day
understand
after
that.
day.
Yeah.
And those algorithms, they don't actually have to encounter every scenario to understand how to react in every scenario.
True. Yes, I understand that.
For example, you can put a neural network on a transistor and it will start modeling it really great. And it'll model sections that you didn't put it into.
I'm still not convinced until I see one navigate a troublesome situation. It's just anyway. I'm calling definitely not 10. You're saying 10 years.
I reckon 10 years.
I'm calling bullshit on 10 years. I'm calling bullshit. Yep.
So
that's it.
How do you feel about Sydney Olympic Park's automated cars now? So they're just bringing in automated cars for the actual park. They drive people around the park, avoiding obstacles, avoiding people.
In Sydney Olympic Park?
That's right, yeah.
What, from venue to venue?
I believe so, yeah.
Geez, you wouldn't even need a car, you just need a golf buggy.
It is like...
Yeah, right, I was going to say, Sydney Olympic Park is like... Yeah, but I can't imagine a more simplistic scenario than Sydney Olympic Park. If I was to choose, for those who, have never been to Sydney and Sydney Olympic Park...
It's the perfect test ground.
It is the perfect... The streets are 20 lanes wide and there's hardly anyone there and there's perfect GPS sky reception, like you can get 20 zillion satellites.
But GPS is actually like... GPS is a tiny fraction of what they need. They can probably have it off.
Yep.
Like to navigate, because the SLAM mapping, it maps with respect to maps they already have in their system.
Right.
They don't need the GPS. They can basically figure out where they are without it. So in a car park, they don't need GPS.
Right. Well, they can't get it.
No. They need to not need GPS.
Right.
Yeah.
Instant. I don't know. I think there's going to be more, even if it's technically possible. I think there's going to be more pushback than what people think there will be.
Well, our government's already letting it for the autonomous bus. That's a bus, not a car.
Where?
In Sydney Olympic Park.
Oh, right.
That's
okay.
that's a bus.
Yep.
And it's not only that. It's like many other countries are already allowing it. Like I think California has some quite a few things that allow it. I'll fact check myself.
No, it's all right. Anyway, that's enough of driverless cars. We've yapped on about that on the amp hour before. Our amp hour is up, David.
Ah.
See, that was painless, wasn't it?
No. Yeah.
See, and we didn't get through. He thought we'd go through the list and shit like that. No, it never works.
Well,
works.
apart from sitting on my keys, this is pretty painless.
Yeah. There you go. So thank you very much for filling in for Christopher J. Gamble.
No worries. Sorry, audience.
We were going to do this last week, but you were sick.
Yeah, I still am a little.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm contagious
Don't give it
anymore.
to me. What are you sitting on my desk for? Bugger off. All right.
When I think I'm contagious, I stay away.
Good man.
Yeah.
All right. Catch you next time.
Bye.